morning, everyone. Welcome to 15 Minutes with Lori. I am today introducing Micah Mayfield with Delmar Mortgage. He is my guest today, and so welcome.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So Micah, tell me a little bit about you. Tell everybody about Micah Mayfield.
Well, Micah Mayfield with Delmar Mortgage for the last 9.5 years. My wife and kids, we live in Florissant. My wife, Kate, and two sons, Hudson and Fletcher. One's at CBC, so he's all busy as can be right now. And then I got a 7th grader at Sacred Heart. Spend most of my evenings doing whatever they need to be doing. And then I spend a lot of my time when I'm not with the family supporting my other networks and people that I work with through the parish and volunteering around with the kids at school, and then in a couple different networking groups.
Oh, good for you. So how old are your kids?
They're 15 and 12.
15 and 12.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Do they do any sports?
The oldest is doing soccer right now at CBC, and pretty intense 5 days a week practice, and then whatever games there are. And then the younger one plays both soccer and volleyball. I'm tall, so they kind of get a head start on some of the sports. Little free bonus for height.
Well, good for you. Yeah, we're a sports family ourselves. I remember those days. I kind of missed them. They were a lot of fun. They do keep you busy, but It is a lot of fun.
What else are you going to be doing?
Exactly.
Right?
You think that you're over busy now, then when they're gone, it's like, oh, I missed those days. Yeah. So, so why did you become a lender?
Well, for most of my life, I like teaching. So in the past, I was a sales leader for a couple different retail organizations. And I found that the thing I loved doing the most was educating folks and making sure they could hit their goals. And then as I got further into my career there, I realized that, well, I should try to educate other people on how to make the right decisions. Yeah. Loans, the consumer needs to be really protected to make sure they don't get taken advantage of. And it's really hard for them to self-educate when it comes to picking the right product to support their family. And loans, you don't do a lot of times in your life, right? Maybe only do them 2 or 3 times throughout your adult life. So do what you do best at work, and then I can help you make the right decision by giving you the right information and help you make a good choice.
I think that's fantastic. And I think for the consumer, they need to realize that talking with the lenders and Micah, it is important because that way you understand a little bit more about the whole process when it comes to buying a home or even refinancing.
Certainly.
Do you do a lot of refis?
Yeah, so they come in waves, right? When there's an opportunity. So I would say my book is fairly balanced between purchase and refi because I support both realtors and financial advisors. So when a financial advisor looks at someone's assets and liabilities, they can help find a way to restructure and get them to their goals. So I tend to find refis through the financial advisors and through the purchase market, through the realtors, as well as advisors when they're planning out folks' home for that 10 years.
Well, fantastic. That's good. So what are some of the programs that you offer for buyers and, first-time home buyers,
Certainly.
VA, veterans? Talk a little bit about some of the programs that you offer.
So at Delmar, we offer your conventional loan, FHA loans, VA, USDA, construction, and even reverse mortgage. First-time home buyers specifically, they can put as little as 3% down, and then there are down payment assistance options. The thing to think about with that is they are income limited a lot of times. Okay. Most people, when we walk through the initial conversation, down payment assistance comes up, and then we figure out if they qualify. And usually that if you're under 6 figures in income, we can find you an option.
Okay. So you mentioned USDA because I think here in St. Louis, some people aren't familiar with what the USDA. I come from an area where we use USDA, but if you could tell everyone a little bit about what that is.
So that's a government supported loan program for rural home purchases. You'd have to look to low population density areas, but it does offer 0% down, reduced mortgage insurance. It's one of the more interesting underwriting guidelines because it goes by household size, which is unique to that product. So the more people in that household, the higher the income limit is, which is just unique to that, which is kind of fun.
That is very unique. Yes, absolutely. So what is the first thing that you ask a buyer when you sit down to meet with them?
So the very first thing I'm going to ask is, I want them to tell me what they want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to tell me the thing they're most excited about. And I'm going to write that down because they'll never have that first opportunity to tell you their most excited thing.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me what you want to accomplish. Well, if it's move fast, okay, then I got to tell you how to move fast. If it's, I want to buy my forever home. Okay, then we need to talk about what that looks like. And if it's two people, the spouse and their partner, we have to write down both goals, and we have to realize sometimes they conflict. And I'm sure you run into that too.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So that is key, that if I get them to tell me what they want to do, then we can walk through how to do it.
Okay. I think that's important because a lot of times buyers don't know what they don't know. And I don't mean that in a bad way. That's, that's where we come in.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about education earlier, and it's educating them on the loans. It's also educating them on the entire process of buying, which is so critical because otherwise, they're very confused through all of it, and they may not want to move forward. You talk about fast. We have been in a seller's market for a long time.
Oh, wow.
And it is starting to shift a little bit, but I think buyers are still have that mentality that they need to move fast because there are some communities yet where the multiple offer situation is going on.
Yep.
Do you find, so when you qualify a buyer, have they ever come to you and said, hey, can we do a pre-underwriting for a loan commitment or a pre-approval?
Sure.
So talk a little bit about that and what that process looks like.
Certainly.
And why is that important?
Well, there's pre-approval and pre-qualification and loan commitment are all different scenarios, but can be conflated quite often. So the easiest way to describe that is a pre-qualification is I have to believe what you told me on the phone.
Yes, exactly.
A pre-approval is we verified credit, you've shown me some documents, and I've looked at them as a lender, and they support your goals. And then a true loan commitment is we underwrote you without a house involved. Most often, realtors are speaking that language at this point, but not borrowers. They're not quite comfortable with the let's engage ahead of time. At Delmar, we don't charge anything to underwrite someone before they go buy a house. So we're going to put our labor hours into it and get you to that finish line. And when we talk about fast, that is the fastest way to close on a house, because we're gonna know any hurdles we have with income or your debt load or your assets well before you make an offer. And then you have the same power as a cash buyer when you're fully loan committed, because the only things left are insurability, the appraisal, and can they sell it? And those aren't in the borrower's control.
That's right.
We take care of all the things in the borrower's control then.
Yep, absolutely. And, we go through that process as well. So hopefully the buyer will fully understand when they sit down with you and then sit down with us to be able to comfortably buy a home and it's affordable.
Correct.
A lot of times buyers will come in and say, I can afford this. Have you ever had any scenarios where they said, I can afford this, but then you had to tell them the reality?
That's one of the powers of having those conversations, actually over the phone or in person rather than just through email, right?
Right.
One of my favorite questions after they've told me their goals, I ask them to tell me what's the biggest number a month where you start to feel sick.
Oh, yes.
Let's not even hit the ratios, right?
Yeah.
At what number do you start feeling queasy? And then we turn that into what a purchase price looks like. Okay. Right. And then we talk about the levers you can pull to change that payment and achieve the purchase price you want. So is it more down? Is it, we change loan programs where, at the end of the day, it's about getting the house, but the FHA loan might have a much better rate and get you the payment you want. And then we just have to work through what the seller prejudices are against that loan program and figure out a plan.
Well, that's great. And do you communicate all of that with not only the buyer, but with the agent as well?
Yeah.
Some buyers will come through open houses and they, tell the agent, I want to look for a house and this is how much I want to do. But they're always kind of scared to call a lender, I think, because they're a little fearful about what they're going to hear. But in all reality, that's what they need to hear. And, sometimes a buyer might be able to afford more than what they're thinking.
Certainly.
But we never, ever, and I know you too, encourage somebody to spend over their means.
No, there's no reason to.
Yeah. I mean, it's important for buyers to be comfortable when they move into a home. And we always call that you don't want to be house poor.
Correct.
You know, you don't want to have to just live in the house. You want to be able to get out and do some fun things as well. Go to dinner, maybe take a vacation, buy a car.
Or replace the one that you have that's old.
Exactly, exactly. So are you willing to meet a buyer on site, or do they need to come to your office? How do you communicate with them?
So we can go wherever we need to go. One of the interesting things about a virtual consultation is I can expand the spreadsheet and make it bigger.
Oh, yes, exactly.
So
Technology is great sometimes.
In person at their home, we've done, right? We've done after hours, we've done Teams or Zoom. We have the advisor or the realtor as a part of that conversation as well. We might call them in, right? Ring them up while we're in person and say, hey, can we make sure we're all three on the same page? But no, we're very flexible on location, within a reasonable driving distance, right? But outside of that,
absolutely.
Virtual might be the best option. But, if we can look at the numbers together, that saves so much headache from the back and forth, right? When you have the real conversation up front.
Yeah. And, agents, they need to sit down with that buyer and do a consultation as well. And, maybe it's something where you come into the office and meet in the conference room with the buyer at the same time. And I think that would make them feel much more comfortable. How far will you go to meet a buyer?
I mean, reasonably within an hour, so that, because the consultation should probably take 45 to an hour. So that's a 3-hour chunk of time. So that would be reasonable.
Okay. Well, I think that's pretty, that sounds pretty good. I think agents and buyers would really appreciate that. So yeah. Tell everyone how to reach you.
You can always give me a ring on my cell, 314-973-9910. Now that's on the internet. Plenty of AI fake calls that come my way. Or just shoot me an email, mmayfield@delmarmortgage.com.
Okay. Sounds good. Is there anything else you would like to share with the audience?
No, just thanks for the opportunity. I've been a lender for 10 years and really have gotten to be involved in people's life-changing events. So that's been really fun.
Good. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time out today to come and visit with me. And everyone, you can visit me at 15minuteswithlori.com for more videos and this one as well. Have a great day.